Will Paris fall, and with it, France? That is the key question today on this new episode of Strategic Command WW2 War in Europe. Hello everybody, Realm Builder Guy here, and welcome back to the channel. Well, it's been a while. Well, maybe not for you guys, it's been a week. But for me, it's been a month. I am back from my trip in Europe, and obviously a ton has happened in that month. Both personally, just a lot going on, but obviously in the world stage. And I did sit there and think about whether or not I wanted to continue with a pure war game, given what is happening in the real world. Ultimately, I've decided to continue with the series. Obviously, this isn't real life, and war in real life is a horrible, horrible thing. But anyway, enough of that, and we will get into today's episode here, where obviously the French forces, click on here, are in a rather precarious state, both down in the south with the Italians amassing their forces here, and then obviously the Germans swarming in, and Paris, really the fall of which a near foregone conclusion at this point. I also want to quickly thank everybody that is watching this series. I do understand that these types of hex-based strategic war games are not everyone's cup of tea. They're very niche-y. You know, usually my videos get views in the thousands, tens of thousands even at times, which is amazing for a channel of my size of just over 10,000 subscribers. Thank you, by the way, for 10,000 subs. And these videos tend to just get a few hundred, but I hope you're enjoying it. If you are, please hit that like button and drop a comment if you're enjoying it, because that will help this video be seen more often, because it's the YouTube algorithm thing, and that'll attract more people that are looking for these types of games to the channel, and we can continue playing these types of games in future. Because obviously I can't dedicate a whole channel just to these, because that would be a quick YouTube death. But I do want to continue highlighting games just like this in future, and because I really enjoy them, and obviously the few hundred of you that do watch this series enjoy them as well. So, strategically, I made a lot of mistakes here. I actually unwittingly kind of recreated the, let's call it, mistakes made by the Allies, the French and the British, in the early stages of the war, which led to the quick collapse of France. I should have pushed more forces in over here, but I didn't. Obviously, I didn't have the MPP to do that, and I focused a lot on the Maginot Line, where the Germans had no interest in trying to break through. So now the question is, how long can we hold Paris? Not very long. If we zoom in here and take a look, we've got a few Panzer Corps here that are moving. We've got another corps here. We've got an army sitting right there. Yeah, it's not looking good here at all. Paris is right here. All we have are some engineers. We've got heavy tanks right to the north. We've got a corps, first corps up here, headquarter here, another corps here, and first army over here, fourth, third army. I mean, these are all sitting over here. Really, they're not going to do anybody any good. So the question is, of course, what do we sacrifice? Do we sacrifice the Maginot? The Germans are just going to pour in through here. But what I'm going to do is, with this one here, we're going to operate. We're going to spend the 25 MPP, and we're going to move them here just outside of France. That really doesn't help us a ton right now as things stand, but at least we're kind of moving some forces. And I'm going to actually pull this army as well, and we are going to move this army. Could move it to the north here, or just to the south of Paris. We'll operate it here. And then these guys, we're just going to start pulling back, trying to somewhat consolidate our forces a little bit. Let me push him in here. And I think that'll take care of them. There's not really a ton we can do here. All of these units are in pretty bad shape. They're only going to lose and take heavy casualties. I think what I'll do here is actually this tank unit. Let's go after that core. Yeah, I mean, it's not pretty overall. We're in a difficult situation, to say the least. All right, let's take a look at these tactical bombers here. Is there anywhere in here that we can really do any type of damage? Try to go after those tactical bombers. We can go after Brussels. Let's go after that. We've got some interceptors coming in. And that's about it. Not really much else doing there. We'll move them away from the front line. We can move our fighters in here to try to take these guys out. They're all going to get eliminated really quickly. Instead, we're going to reinforce them, leave them where they are. Another set of tactical bombers, British tactical bombers that are not going to do us any good anymore. So we are actually going to fly these guys back across the channel. We need to save as much of the British military as we can. We can't operate them out, so we're going to move the BEF out of here. How far can we operate them? These guys we could operate all the way out to Cherbourg. So just try to save some of the BEF. Kind of do that evacuation. Obviously, we can't take Dunkirk anymore because it's behind German lines. So now heading down south here. Let's see. We've got just a bunch of corps. We have this one army. Move that army in here. They're not going to be able to do much of anything. Heavy cruiser. Yeah, this kind of a shore bombardment that doesn't do anything. Yeah, there's nothing we can really do here with these guys. We have no more MPP left. But we do have the French Navy, and one thing that was pointed out very importantly, of course, is once France is out of the war, their navy will be out of the war as well. And as such, we need to somehow utilize their navy as best we still can. We're going to take this battleship, and I think we are going to move this battleship right here. What do we have here? Let's move that battleship up here. Enemy contact. They're just not going to do much damage. These guys have already taken a hit. We're going to move them out. Let's see, is there a port anywhere? Yeah, move them all the way back in here. And other than that, there's not a ton we can do. We can try that. That destroyer. Submarine dives away from attack. Okay. Here we've got another sub. Destroyer. I mean, we're basically just dealing with submarines here. Destroyers really being the best option against submarines. We're going to move these guys out. All the way up here. Do I have any more destroyers? There, that's a destroyer. Cruiser. Von Galen, another destroyer. Carrier, battleship, battlecruiser. Let's see if we can move this battleship out of here. That takes care of that. And let's see, where's my other destroyer? It's a Polish destroyer. I mean, destroyers are really your best bet going against submarines. They do inflict some damage. Ooh, that was not good for us. But we're going to keep that destroyer right there. And now we're going to move battle cruisers and battleships in here. See if we can find more of the German Navy. So we're going to move those 3 guys in here. Got another sub here, another destroyer, and a light cruiser. So we're going to move that submarine up along the coast here. And send this destroyer down here as well. And engage that submarine, which now dives away from attack. Tries to evade as much as possible. And we're going to take this light cruiser here. Just add it to this group, where we've got a few light cruisers and a battleship. Submarine. Spotted that one right now. Is there anything we can do there? Try to hit it with our light cruiser. Ooh, not good. Not good. All right, well, now let's move battleship further in here, as well as this carrier. Another battle cruiser down this way. That's about all we can do right now in here. I'd like to eventually move here into the Baltic Sea. We'll just have to wait and see if that is at all feasible and possible. Move you into... that's not what I wanted. Misclicked. Misclicked. I have here. That is a core. We're not gonna embark them in France. Sorry. Instead, we're going to unload them right here. We're going to keep them at home and kind of see where things move. We're going to then move the BEF army back as well. That's really all we can hope for right now. I mean, all these French forces, let's be honest, they are completely screwed here. Other than that, move out here, where we've got these destroyers patrolling. Let's continue patrolling along here. So nothing detected by them. Down here we've got the Dunkirk battleship from France. Not going to worry about that. We're going to just have this destroyer kind of patrolling the seas. And then I think what we're going to do is send this guy in cruise into the Mediterranean. And just have it positioned there. Other than that, I think that's all we got. That destroyer here we will reinforce up to a max. And now it's time to head into the Mediterranean. Take a look here. We've got our battleship and our light cruiser here, British. We're going to move them out, because I do want to destroy the Italian Navy. We want superiority here, for sure. We've got Malta as an extremely important point that we need to control. And let's see, we can take these guys and kind of start moving them along the African coast. I'm pretty sure it's all too late, but nevertheless, it is what it is. Okay, we're going to take, let's see, we got a heavy cruiser here. We've got another battleship. They're going to do us no good up here. So we're just going to move these guys along the coast. See if we can't find Italian ships. Now, Italy actually had the largest submarine fleet at this time, interestingly enough, and they had a huge presence, of course, in the Mediterranean. All right, so now we're going to send this heavy cruiser out here. And that was a big hit here against the Doria battleship. So we're going to send this destroyer out here I'm going to place them right off the coast of Libya. And other than that, we've got another heavy cruiser. We've got a submarine here. We're just going to move out here. And a light cruiser. We'll move off the coast of Sicily. Alright, so the Italians are sitting in the Adriatic here. Let's see, do we have any other ships we can send out there to try to hit them? We have here, we've got another Parthian sub. Send them over this way. And down here, what do we have? We've got a Royal Carrier, a light cruiser, and the Valiant battleship. So the battleship, we're going to move it out here. We're going to move all our forces over to the Adriatic. So right now it's looking, that is where the main threat is from the Italian Navy. And that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to lose too many if we try to attack that battleship. So we're not going to worry about that. Other than that, there's not much else we can do. We can move these guys up here towards the Libyan border. But other than that, I think that pretty much just takes care of everything we can do. We can take a look here at the Soviets. We've got those guys in Stalingrad. We've got some core down here with Romania as a possible threat there. And then, of course, we've got our cruiser fleet here in Sevastopol, in the Crimea, and this huge force just sitting right there off of Germany. And we're going to keep moving. We're going to move the army there. Because eventually that's going to go hot. Moscow, we're going to leave that there. And here, what we're going to do is actually, we're going to swap those two. And with these guys, let's see, what... let's fortify. Let's bump up 4 sides. We can do 5 sides even. Threat, we're going to rotate it around to the south. There. I think that'll take care of it. As we fortify these areas, it's very important just to kind of make the advance on Leningrad more difficult. On that, there's not really a ton to do here. These are all garrison units, so we'll keep them where they are. We do have this corps up here. I'll spend the MPP to operate them. And I think we will put these guys... Oh, where could we put them? We'll just put them right down here. Again, just amassing some forces here on the German front so that eventually we can make the move in there. Now, let's look at purchasing some units. There's the UK. Trying to think, do we need some fighters? Fighters actually wouldn't be bad. Bombers, we can't. Fighters, we can afford. Coastal Command, do Advanced Fighters 1. So that'll bump up. You can see the attack values against fighter, bomber, strategic bomber, and kamikaze. We don't have that, of course. Defensive values go up. Fighter, bomber, carrier goes up. Interceptors, escorts. We do Advanced Fighters as Coastal Command. So we'll purchase that. We've got 74 MPP left for them. Not really much we can do there. French, we've got nothing. The Americans. Now here, everything is going to have to go towards possibly ships or more army units. I think what we're going to do is we're going to invest in an army. We're going to put the 11th Army, bump up their mobility. What that gives them is an extra action point, but we can't afford that. But we are going to purchase another army. And for the Soviets, is there anything we can do? We can do a core, another core, or we can do anti-air. Don't really need a garrison. Core will help, because we just need the units. Diplomacy-wise, British. Yeah, right now we've used all of the chits available. Diplomatic costs. Not really much else we can do there. Finland, we've invested a lot in, trying to get them to our side, and we've invested a lot in Sweden. French, we've got nothing left. Research. There's nothing we can really do with anybody. Nobody has enough. So with that, we are going to end the turn. USSR annexes the Baltic states. So you can see that happening right now between Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, now becoming part of the USSR. Axis raiders disrupt British Empire UK convoys. UK develops infantry warfare level 1. Scientists report progress in amphibious warfare development from 41% up to 65%. Very nice. Logistics development has gone up to 31%. Same for the Soviet Union. Logistics up to 47%. And other than that, we've lost a few MPP here. Other than that, decent-ish growth. Obviously, the UK being the biggest winner in terms of MPPs. And now it'll be the turn of the Axis. And we will see if and how and when now Germany takes Paris. You can see they've crossed the Maginot Line, which was obviously going to happen. There's another unit here that was a destroyer. Trying to sink that French trip. There's a ship. There's a cruiser. Yeah, so they're all sitting in the Adriatic. Oh, a few now off the north coast of Africa. Looks like another battleship there. Okay, so they're sitting right in here, or they've moved in here. There, they've just sunk that one. Not good. So the Italian Navy will be a difficult one for us to crack. We're going to have to send the Royal Navy in there and have them do the dirty work and try to destroy the Italian fleet. Right now, the German submarines are trying to free a path for them and sink the Polish destroyer. Bombing raids. Interceptors. Escorts coming in as well. You can see here on the French front, I mean, the full-on offensive for Paris is going to happen now, and odds are Paris is going to fall. We can see their tactical bombers are doing some important work. Our army there, and fend off the strategic bombers. There's some more moves around to the north side. It's not looking good here. That army has now been destroyed by the German army as well as that Panzer Corps. And they're just going to swing around. So moving that army there did take up some of their resources. But other than that, it's not going to change the outcome. But if France can hold on one more turn, that would make a huge, huge difference. As we can just see the German army just storming through here. And historically speaking, what Germany had going for them in this offensive in France, going through the Benelux countries, was it was unexpected. I mean, the Allies kind of figured that Germany was going to come through Belgium, but they didn't realize they were going to come through the Ardennes, and Germany got lucky. Honestly, they came through with enough speed. The Allied command, especially the French and the British command, was, I'm not going to say incompetent. That would be really, really harsh. But they lacked conviction and coordination, whereas the Germans did not at all. Plus, they took a big risk in this operation through the Ardennes, and it paid off. And there you go. Paris is going to fall. They're going to move in there, I assume. It's not that Germany was technologically that much more advanced than France or Britain at the time, but they were significantly better coordinated and they got lucky. This was very daring, highly risky operation that worked. Had they been slowed down a little bit, well, then they could have gone a different way. But there you can see it. That corps has now moved into Paris. So the capitulation of France is imminent as the Italians are pushing now here on the south. And that Panzer Corps, or Panzer Corps, I think, destroyed the tank corps from France. And the French units trying to hold off the Italians down south, but it's really a moot point now as the Germans are just going to sweep right through France now. And yeah, that's all she wrote there for the offensive in France, and probably for the French in this chapter of World War II. The loss of Paris impacts British national morale. French morale suffers from the fall of Paris. Germany creates Vichy France. France surrenders. There, it is done. French are gone. Germany plunders 1,296 MPP. Germany occupies the Channel Islands. The Third Republic is abolished as Marshal Pétain becomes head of the Vichy French state. Algeria declares loyalty to Vichy France. Tunisia governor declares his loyalty to Vichy France. Syria declares loyalty to Vichy France. It's amazing how quickly things change. Franco swings towards the Axis on the fall of France. And USSR annexes Bessarabia from Romania. So that was a big move, which eventually becomes, of course, Moldova. Germany annexes Alsace. US lend-lease to the UK begins. Allied raiders disrupt Norway-Germany convoys. Victorious German troops march in Paris. Spanish forces enter the International Protectorate of Tangier. Fall of France enables Spain to export wolfram and other goods to Germany. Decision time. Office of the British Foreign Secretary Lord Halifax. Although the new French government has signed an armistice with the enemy and withdrawn from the war, not all French soldiers have given up the fight. A small number, led by General de Gaulle, intend to continue the struggle from exile as the Free French. Should we support de Gaulle and through this action offer hope to all those in France, indeed the whole world, who wish to continue the fight until Europe is free of the evil menace of Nazism? Supporting the Free French will cost us 30 MPPs, and it will enable us to prepare operations to prevent the Vichy fleet from falling into Axis hands. Yes, of course, we will support the Free French. That is, I mean, obviously, obviously that's going to happen. Vichy France is itself from Britain's support for General de Gaulle, as is expected. So, what does the world look like now? We've got Vichy down here. So, created Vichy France. We've got, of course, German France, German-occupied France, and all of these lands here. We obviously lost the entire French Navy. And right now we just have essentially the British as combatants. The Soviets are not in the war. The Americans are not actively engaged in the war. It is really, really just the British right now. And that is not a lot. We look strategically. We've got a garrison here in Cyprus. We've got some troops here in Egypt. We've got the Royal Navy down here off the coast of Greece. Kind of here off of the Balearic Islands, Malta as well. Some here in the North Sea, some in the Baltic Sea. And then we're trying to defend the British Islands. All American troops are over here because they're not actively in the war yet. It's not looking good. I mean, once the Soviets enter the war, whenever that is, that completely changes the dynamic massively. So we'll just have to hang out and hang in until then. In the next episode, the key will be to try to get these guys out and back in to Britain and off the European mainland and start working on British defenses. Because eventually, Operation Seelöwe, Operation Sea Lion, will possibly commence. And that, of course, is the operation where Germany tried to invade Britain. But that's where I'm going to end today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, to not miss out on any content here on the channel. Until next time, I'm Realm Builder Guy, and I will talk to you soon.